Hey everyone, so in this video, I'm going to be going over what you need to become a flight attendant, okay? So this is just a brief overview, but obviously you can go more into detail by doing your own research. So first off, we're going to start off with the education. Usually becoming a flight attendant requires you to have a high school diploma or equivalent, while most airlines actually do prefer some sort of college degree, okay? So it is better to have a college degree if you're looking to stand out from your competition. Now, the next thing is that you need is customer service skills. So strong communication skills as a flight attendant is pretty essential just because you'll be working with a lot of passengers essentially. Ability to handle difficult passengers calmly. So obviously we have those passengers or certain situations where some passengers will be more difficult than others. And most of the time, I mean, if you can probably recall this yourself, every time you enter a new airline, they are pretty friendly and approachable with that right attitude. So these are basically the basic customer skills that all airlines tend to look out for, which are ones that I basically kind of thought about in mind. Now, in addition to customer service skills, you do have physical requirements. So there is a height and reach requirement that's specific to your airline. The medical exam, it's just more of like a medical check to make sure that you're healthy as far as blood work and physical exam goes. You need to be able to lift and carry heavy luggage. So I think the cap for this was around like being able to lift like 40 or 50 pounds overhead, I believe. But you'll have to check that out. But as a flight attendant, if you could imagine, you are going to be helping passengers lift their carry-ons into the overhead storage bins. And in addition to that, you must be able to stand for long periods of time. I mean, just yesterday I met a kiosk person who was mentioning to me like that she can't stand for more than like 10 minutes at a time. So it may sound odd, but you do need to be able to stand for long periods of time, which is one of the physical requirements of what it takes to become a flight attendant. Now, as far as certifications goes, you need to obtain a flight attendant certification from the FAA, okay? In addition to that, you need to complete airline specific training programs. Delta's flight attendant requirements are going to be very, very different from, let's say, Spirit's flight attendant requirements. Now, as far as language skills goes, okay, fluency in English is a common practice here as far as being international or domestically in the US. What I found from other people is that additional languages are a huge plus, especially for international airlines. So if you're already eyeing, let's say, a type of airline that you want to work with, if you speak an additional language, it's usually a major plus. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to go learn a new language, but again, there's just some things that help you stand out compared to the rest of the crowd. Now, as far as availability goes, okay, airline attendants do tend to have a flexible schedule to work nights, weekends, and holidays. So they are pretty flexible in the sense that it's not like a set work time, but more so it's dependent on the flight schedule. So do expect to work nights, weekends, and holidays. But in contrast to that flexible schedule of having to work where you usually should be off, for example, there is a travel benefit to it. So obviously as a flight attendant, you are going to be traveling to all sorts of places, staying there for a couple of days, and then working the next flight back home or to another country or to another state, for example. So you do need to have some willingness to travel frequently, of course. With flight attendants, as kind of what I mentioned before, professional appearance is a huge must. When we see flight attendants, they do seem to be professionally clean, well groomed. So this more so again depends on the airline grooming and appearance standards. Usually there's some sort of uniform involved. There's usually some sort of appearance involved to kind of like represent the airline at hand. So if we think about the flight attendants, usually we think about them being clean and in uniform. So the same thing applies, in which you do need to have some sort of professional appearance when it comes to becoming a flight attendant. So I hope you found this video helpful as far as like a general overview of what it takes to become a flight attendant. If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, do let me know down below.